every week you go through, and at the end of the day, you tick off on there. Did I hit that? Did I hit that? Did I hit that? Yes, no? Well, I did it halfway. Hello, Aaron Kubitz, personal trainer, functional aesthetic CC, helping average guys perform better inside and outside the gym. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about your fitness goals, priorities, and commitment, and what it takes to truly turn around and gain momentum in a positive direction in terms of your health and fitness goals. So one thing that I see that is all too common with a lot of guys is that they want to have their cake and eat it too. In other words, they want to achieve their fitness results without actually making any real changes to the way that they live their life. They want to have the physique, they want to have the strength, they want to have the energy, they want to have the confidence that comes with being in better shape, but they don't want to do the things that are required to get there. So maybe they're working hard in the gym, right? But they are not following through on their diet. Or they're going out and staying up too late with their friends on the weekends. They're still drinking. Maybe they're playing video games, spending too much time on social media, watching TV, Netflix, and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with these things, but they all have to have their place. And if you truly want to see exceptional results in your fitness, if you truly want to gain momentum in that positive direction, you need to have fitness be up there on the list of your priorities. So it needs to be in the top 3 of your priorities if you truly want to see long-term success. Because if you have too many different goals that you're chasing at once, you're going to find that it's very hard to achieve any of them. It's like if you try to chase a bunch of different rabbits all at the same time, you will probably end up not catching any of those rabbits. Now, we all go through different seasons in our lives, right? And this doesn't mean that you're going to have to be obsessed with and having fitness be that top priority indefinitely, right? There will be evolutions in the stages that you go through in your life, right? So for example, for me, when I first started my business, I had to actually scale back a little bit on the amount of exercise that I was doing, how much I was training, because I had other priorities. There was more things taking up my time. And it can be the same for a lot of you guys, that maybe the reason why you got out of shape, maybe you were an athlete, when you were in college and high school and stuff. Then after college, you met a nice girl, you got married, you started a family, you have kids. You're more focused on that career, as you should be, to help provide a living for and support the family, right? But you kind of let your health slip, because you were focusing so much time and energy on the family, on the girl, on your career, that you kind of put that on the back burner. And it amazes me sometimes how much money and energy and time people will put into things like their car, their house, their boat, and all these kind of like toys, the guns, all that kind of stuff that guys like to get, but will spend so little time on their body, which is actually the vehicle or the goose, as it were, that lays the golden egg, that allows you to work harder, to produce more, to essentially achieve those other goals in life. And when you take that for granted, because when you're young and you're healthy, you can get away with that for a while, right? You can abuse your body, you can neglect it, but eventually you're going to have to pay the price, because over time your health will tend to start getting worse. You're not going to have as much energy, you're not going to have as much mental clarity, and then guys will blame it on age, right? And they'll say, well, it's because of age that I don't have this, that I'm not able to do this anymore. After you're 40 years old, 50 years old, and you're saying, yeah, everybody else, all these other guys and stuff, when I was 20 or something, I could eat whatever I wanted. I could go and play basketball for 3 hours and my knees would be fine. And now I just can't do that, and it's because I'm getting old. Well, the science actually doesn't back that up. The science actually says that as long as you can maintain those habits, right? As long as you maintain your fitness routine, as long as you are getting enough sleep, as long as you are eating healthy, you can maintain your fitness into old age. In fact, testosterone levels don't naturally drop on their own significantly until over 70 years of age. And they actually found that endurance athletes did not lose their peak torque or power production in their legs into their 70s because they were continually training the whole time. And you can still build muscle 65, 70 years old, right? Is it going to be harder than when you were in your 20s? Yeah. And the thing is, the reason why guys' testosterone levels tend to decrease as they get older is because there's an inverse relationship between the stress hormone cortisol and testosterone. So when you have more responsibilities, when you're staying up at night with a kid because the kid isn't falling asleep, right? So you got a screaming kid, you got stress at work, then you come home, you have stress with family situations, right? All these things build up and accumulate, and if you're not doing anything to counteract that stress, your testosterone levels are going to decrease, right? And so it's not necessarily because of age, but it's the accumulation of these micro traumas over time that tend to lead to the decrease in testosterone. So you can't just go out and drink a bunch of beer, stay up too late, drink all this caffeine to make up for it like you could in your 20s, right? It's accumulative, right? Over time. So now you need to start training in a different way. Maybe you need to spend more time warming up because you have a job where you're sitting all the time, right? To make a living. And so you can't just go into the gym and start lifting heavy after 1 or 2 warm-up sets. Maybe you have to spend more time on that mobility. Maybe you have to actually devote some time to going for walks. Maybe you have to spend more time stretching in the morning, whatever it is, so that you can actually go and do your routine. And the thing is, you don't actually have to spend, an hour every day in the gym. I don't. I actually spend, 10 to 20 minutes every single day doing some form of exercise, right? And because I've done that, I can more quickly get up to speed and hit a higher intensity in the workouts because I stay consistent over time. And so as long as you're consistent, you can maintain that. But it's my consistency that has allowed me to do that, right? And so that's what I was talking about. In the beginning, you have to make your fitness a top priority. If you want to turn around that ship, overcome the negative entropy taking you towards disease and low energy, low testosterone, all those kind of things, and turn the ship around and start going in a positive direction, like as the law of thermodynamics says, an object at rest likes to stay at rest. An object in motion likes to stay in motion unless it's acted upon by an outside force. And that outside force is your will and your commitment and your dedication to making your fitness a top priority for however long it takes to turn that ship around, so that you then can go to that maintenance routine where you can spend just a few minutes a day working on that fitness to maintain the progress that you've maintained. And after a while, then maybe you decide, hey, I want to work on improving my athleticism. Maybe I want to build more muscle. And that's great. And then you're going to have to devote more time, again, make your fitness a higher priority to achieve those goals. But it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. You can maintain for the rest of your life, just doing a little bit at a time. And as long as you're doing a little bit at a time on a consistent basis, you'll be able to maintain what you've got. But in the short term, you're going to have to make that commitment to fitness. Make it in the top 3 of your priorities. You can't be skipping workouts, kind of going so-so on your diet, right? You can't be saying, well, I'm gonna eat sensibly, right? Well, what is sensibly, right? A lot of people say, oh, that's eating more fruits and vegetables, eating less sugar, drinking less alcohol, right? But there's no plan, no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes if you stop drinking soda, you'll lose a bunch of weight, right? Right off the bat, just because you're cutting out, maybe 300-500 calories or more on a daily basis of, empty calories. But if you want after that, maybe you need to get a little bit leaner, and then you have to actually have a structured plan, a structured diet of this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, right? And have a rhyme and a reason to how you're training and how you're eating to actually, without fail, hit that goal that you set for yourself. So one way that you can keep yourself accountable and track and make sure that you are on the right track to achieving your goals, because sometimes you can get frustrated, right? So for me in my business, sometimes I'll get frustrated. Man, I'm putting all this work in, I'm doing all these things. How come my business isn't exploding, taking off at a faster rate? And then if I go back and I look and here's the things that I need to be hitting. Here's the metrics. Here's the tasks, the high leverage tasks that I need to be doing that are going to move the needle and produce the outcome. And if I'm honest with myself and I look at, okay, did I do that? No, I went for the easy route. I did the thing that was easy for me to do and just focus on those things because I was too tired to focus on that. And that's okay. I've talked about in some other videos about quote unquote growing into your goals. What does that mean? It means that sometimes you have the knowledge of what to do, but you don't have the physical or mental capacity to follow through on what you know that you need to do. And so it's okay to fall short sometimes, but you need to then not get frustrated that you're falling short. Understand that you're falling short for a reason, because your capacity hasn't grown to that level yet, and now you know what you need to work on to level yourself up. So if you want to keep yourself accountable, if you want to be honest with yourself, here's what you do, okay? You figure out, here's all the things that I need to do to achieve my goals. And on a calendar, you write down those things that you need to do to achieve your goals. And then every week, you go through, and at the end of the day, you tick off on there. Did I hit that? Did I hit that? Did I hit that? Yes, no? Well, I did it halfway. Those kind of things, right? And then at the end of the week, you average it all out. And then you grade yourself just like you're in a classroom. And you say, okay, if I'm below 70% on my follow-through, I will be getting a C in class. Should I be expecting A+ results if I'm getting a C? If I'm less than 70% follow-through, maybe I'll be getting a D, right? And if you're lower than that, you're getting an F. And then you'd be flunking, right? And I've had guys, actually to date, I haven't had anybody that followed 90% of what they were supposed to do. And you'll still be able to see some decent results, right? I've had some guys, and on a consistent basis, they only did about 50% of what I told them to do, and they still lost 20 pounds and drastically improved their strength, right? But it all depends on where you're coming from. If you're already decently fit and you're trying to get to those higher level goals, the more fit you're trying to get, the more disciplined you're going to have to be. It's a lot easier to lose, go from 30% down to 15% body fat than it is to go from 15% body fat down to, 7, 8, or 10% body fat. And so the higher your goal, the more on point you're going to have to be to achieve that goal. But at least you can be honest with yourself at the end of the week and not get frustrated that you're not hitting the goal because you know why you're not hitting the goal. And then it actually gives you a visual of where you're falling short so you know the areas that you need to work on. So there you have it, guys. If you want to achieve your goals, you got to make them a priority. You can't be going half in on it. That doesn't mean that you need to have that as your top priority for the rest of your life. You can dial it back a little bit and maintain after you achieve it. But to overcome that negative entropy, the negative inertia, you do need to go all in. You gotta be serious about it. You have to be focused on it. In the Bible it talks about, the Apostle Paul, he's talking about, I run as if to win, He's like, so fight I, not as one that beats the air, you know. I'm not shadow boxing. I'm doing it with the intent to succeed. Or as Ralph Waldo Emerson said, every action is measured by the sentiment from which it proceeds. Are you doing it with the intent to win, or are you doing it to see how much of your old life can I retain while still getting results? No! Discard the old life. It wasn't serving you. Do what is serving you. Alright guys, done for the day. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more content related to building muscle, losing body fat, workout designed for athletic performance, hybrid fitness training, how to work around injuries if you sustain them, how to avoid getting them in the first place, hit the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner of the channel, of the screen, and we'll see you all next time for more health and fitness information.